We're going to jump into our lead story for the day. Sydney Sweeney is currently on the press circuit for her upcoming movie called Christy. This is a biopic about a female boxer, and a lot of people for the past several months have been noting the transformation that she undertook to play this role. She gained, I think, something like 30 to 40 pounds for the role. She was relying on a lot of Smuckers and milkshakes, she said, to build the muscle. And she also
is great.
She went to brunette hair and a mullet for the role. I wanted to show some of the photos of her from when she was in the middle of filming. This was around the time, by the way, that there were photos of her circulated in a bikini, and all the men freaked out and said that she was mid suddenly overnight, and we needed to check ourselves.
Dumb place.
And she's also in this next slide, like wearing the very like 80s workout attire with the sort of mullet situation. I don't know if that's her real hair or if they gave her a wig for this. But yeah, currently critics are giving this movie rave reviews. It has not premiered in theaters yet for us, but it's soon. And she's doing a bunch of interviews. She was recently at TIFF. And this was her first public appearance since the controversy over her American Eagle commercial. And obviously, a lot of journalists were going to take that opportunity to ask her about the controversy and see if they could get a soundbite out of her, which she did not enjoy. This was from her interview with Vanity Fair. She hasn't spoken about the divisive ads yet and tells Vanity Fair that she doesn't plan to start now. I'm there to support my movie and the people involved in making it, and I'm not there to talk about jeans. The movie is about Christy, and that's what I'll be there to talk about. So they didn't like that. I don't think journalists ever like staying on topic. They're desperate to bait her into some kind of soundbite about the controversy. They want her to talk about race. They want her to denounce the people that idolize her on X for being, you know, MAGA-peds. Like, they really want that soundbite, and she refuses to give it to them, which is a smart move, of which she's made many. But I will offer this critique, and it's that you can't be taken seriously after doing ads like the one that she did for Dr. Squatch, specifically the bathwater soap, or the American Eagle campaign. You can't do those things as a public figure and then expect people to turn and treat you like a serious auteur, a serious actress who is in these art indie films. And this is the type of thing that she's starring in lately. She was in another one called Americana that premiered recently that no one talked about because it's just a random indie art nerd film that isn't really what she's known for at this point. She's more so known for being Sydney Sweeney than for the projects that she stars in. And Christy is no different. She's obviously not in this role to cater to the male gaze or anything like that. And people don't even know about this stuff. I've seen feminists railing against her for only taking roles or commercials that cater to patriarchal beauty standards, but that just flies in the face of her actual rap sheet when you take a look at it. She played reality winner in this movie last year. Definitely, I mean, I'm sorry, but if you look up the pictures of her in that role, she's not, you know, red carpet ready. She's playing Christy, and she put on so much muscle and so much weight for that role that her male fans actually were insulting her looks as a result. And also, in the film Immaculate, she's dressed up in a nun's garb the entire time. And yeah, there was a little bit of explicit scenes in that movie, but for the most part, it's just an indie art film. And people didn't pay attention to those roles that she took. She wants to somehow convert the public image that she's cultivated over the last year with these commercials and her star power into people paying attention to her art projects. But that's just not going to be a successful endeavor for her, if I had to guess. And so far, the responses I've seen to that comment she gave to Vanity Fair are just like dudes on Twitter saying like, yeah, I like her tits. Like, no one's going to talk about this movie, which is counterproductive to what her stated goals are. if she's planning to use her brand value to propel her acting career. She's not actually that good at acting. She's good at picking roles. She's good at business. She's starting a lingerie brand that's actually funded by Jeff Bezos. But
look, so your opinion on her acting maybe you're right. Maybe she's not a great actor, but she is doing the commitment things necessary to become a great actor, right? Like, not very few people will actually change their bodies for a role.
That's true.
Very few people. They'll take roles that
a lot of men won't.
Yeah, they'll take roles that are complementary to their body. But when you see things like, I forget his name, the guy that played, it's in my mind, he played Batman a bunch.
Ben Affleck?
No, he played Batman in The Dark Knight, and Christian Bale. The transformations that he's done, from going from overweight to emaciated and stuff. There are people that would say that he's not a great actor. But, you know, the commitment level.
You have to admire that.
You have to admire the commitment level. So maybe Sydney Sweeney isn't, you know, maybe she's not going to cry on command. But the commitment level and the effort that she's putting in to really change her body the way that she has, that's worth something. And it's something that shows that she does, even if she's not elite level, she does take it seriously, and she does actually want to be taken seriously as an actor beyond just being attractive.
Right.
And the fact that she can play both, you know, she can play in both arenas. She can play in the arena where she's making, you know, fairly lighthearted but sexy remarks, like the Sasquatch stuff or the Dr. Squatch stuff or the Gene stuff, right? And she's also in movies that are ostensibly serious movies like this. I think she deserves credit for that.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think you can't have it both ways. And that's how a lot of actresses operate in their industry, is that they want to have it both ways. They want to play into sex appeal when it's convenient for them. And then when they want to be, quote unquote, taken seriously as an artist, they get mad that they have been placed in this box of being a sex symbol. You either reap the benefits of being a sex symbol or you don't.
Doesn't the fact that she has changed her body so much for that role and done other stuff show that she's not looking to be just a sex symbol?
Well, I just think it's ironic for her to, you know, express frustration at journalists like taking so much interest in her commercial roles compared to her indie movie roles, when, like, obviously you're garnering more attention by advertising jeans than by playing a female boxer.
But is that,
like, you can't manage how people perceive you that closely.
I agree with that. And so, like, you totally can't manage how people perceive you. But isn't it justified to say, look, you guys are focusing on this stuff, and this is because of the media, but I'm more than this stuff. I'm all of these things.
You can certainly try. I just think, like, for the most part, it's a futile endeavor. Because once you're doing what she did in Euphoria, for instance, literally, like, just the most, like, explicit pornographic stuff for a TV show on HBO.
Right.
No one is really gonna be able to humanize you after that. Like, she's not taken seriously by the people who like her or by the people who dislike her at this point. And the American Eagle ad confused me for many reasons, because she doesn't really have a sizable fan base of women, and they were obviously using this commercial to advertise a product that's for women, the jeans, namely.
I don't know that I could speak to her female fans.
She used to have a stronger female following when she was in stuff that she did before Euphoria. Then over time, she's lost it. And for obvious reasons, has a stronger appeal to a male audience. But they're doing this commercial for jeans for women. And she doesn't have this dedicated female fan base that sees her as something they want to aspire to. I don't think there are a lot of women who aspire toward Sydney Sweeney. They don't want to be her because they see the trade-offs that she has accepted for being a sex symbol. And they didn't end up selling as many actual products as they ended up selling shares in American Eagle.
I don't think that the goal of that campaign was actually to sell jeans.
Right.
It was to sell American Eagle.
It was about brand value, because everyone thought before that commercial came out that this was just a dead in the water mall brand that hasn't been relevant since millennials like bought American Eagle polos 20 years ago. people thought that they shut down.
Yeah.
And this was the first time people even were reminded of American Eagle in years. And they went on an earnings call recently where the CMO for American Eagle claimed that those products did actually sell out within 1 week, with some selling out within a day, saying Sydney Sweeney sells great jeans, trying to counteract the narrative that this wasn't just for shareholders.
Right.
I disagree with that, and obviously the way that these earnings calls are conducted is like we're just going to paint the most flattering picture we possibly can for our investors. But they stage selling out. Like these companies stage how they want a product launch to go. This is common in cosmetics, in in fashion companies. They decide what number of products they want to reach the selling out benchmark, and it doesn't reflect the amount of product they actually produced for the campaign.
Right.
So we are not supposed to just trust him on face value anyway, but their stock soared. They got a lot of attention in the media, and then they put out the Travis Kelce campaign that pretty much no one cared about. But they're crediting the brand deals with Sydney Sweeney and Travis Kelce as driving their growth. And as Brett pointed out several weeks ago, they didn't drive sales according to early data, actually selling product. And then foot traffic was down by 9% at American Eagle stores following Sydney Sweeney's controversy. I wouldn't even blame that on the controversy. I would blame that on, first of all, back to school season. Like, teenagers aren't hanging out in the mall as much as they were during the summer. Also, teenagers don't hang out in the mall because it's 2025 and they don't hang out in public in general. They're in their bedrooms, and mall traffic has been down incrementally every year for many years at this point. I wouldn't blame that on the controversy, but I just think it's funny how we're using commercial campaigns and consumerism, basically, as I think you pointed out yesterday, as these cultural flashpoints when they don't actually reflect consumer interests.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
the Cracker Barrel thing, for instance. Like,
Sure.
people are acting like this is some kind of like watershed moment for all of Western civilization.
I just think it was funny.
Like, I
Yeah.
would like to just treat it as like a funny thing that happened and not be like the vibe shift. Like, it's a little
fair to say
over dramatic.
It's fair to say it's like a component of larger trends, but it's like to act like it is the hill to die on, the watershed moment. It's like, no, it's just emblematic. It's a good rally. It's a good mustering point for a larger trend, and it's like, okay, you can maybe send a message here, and that's a warning to other brands. But to act like the West has died because of Cracker Barrel,
Because we lost, what did they call him? The old cracker? No,
Yeah,
they didn't.
I should have known
What
this.
would they call him? Old friend?
because I was on the front lines of this, and I was like, I'm sitting there like, guys, this is just funny. Like, we just gotta admit this is funny. And the Sydney Sweeney, I mean, American Eagle, they were staring down the same barrel that Aeropostale's staring down, which is getting banished to Ross.
Right.
Because once that happens, it's over. Like, it happened to
Right.
Echo, it happened to a few other brands. So they were looking.
Aeropostale, Hollister, Abercrombie and Fitch.
They were looking down the barrel of Ross, and they panicked. It's very. This could sound mean, but it's true. It's a very immigrant-coded brand.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, strong. You saw a really strong cologne. You can't put a finger on it.
Definitely.
It's gonna be paired with an American Eagle.
I call it like
polo
nail
shirt.
tech fashion.
Yeah.
And I'm nothing against nail techs, but they wear Aeropostale and American
the
Eagle.
guys at the mall that are running the booth where they'll fix your phone, they're just
Yeah.
popping across and heading to American Eagle to top up their wardrobe. That's what's going
Absolutely.
on. And so they had to make a calculation. What happened? And what happened to American
And
Eagle?
True Religion, too.
True Religion. They made a calculation. They said Preppy is in. Who is more preppy than Sydney Sweeney? A lot of people, but in their eyes, Sydney Sweeney. And so they said Preppy's in, Blonde's in, Sydney Sweeney. Let's just make it happen. So they
Fired it off.
threw a war chest at her, and
Yeah, right.
that's all it is. That's all that's really going on here. Is they know that TJ Maxx is probably where they're going to be hanging around for a while. And look, I'm a TJ Maxx warrior. I'm a Kohl's Cash warrior. There's nothing wrong. Like, that's where I thrive, quite frankly.
Diversify your portfolio with Kohl's Cash.
Yeah, precisely. So
Well,
it's like,
as
I've
for,
been known to frequent these places. This is not like a dig necessarily. I'm just saying, as a brand, you don't want to go there. It's a dark place.
Right.
You don't
And
get out.
they
You don't get
narrowly
out.
avoided it, which, to their credit, was a smart decision.
Champion
but
broke out for a little bit. Champion broke out of the Ross ghetto
they
for a
did.
little
And
bit.
Puma.
And Puma had a moment.
Yeah.
And now they're plunged right back down to Ross, where
Right. They had their moment in the sun.
You know, I won't extrapolate too much, but there's a lot going on at Ross. There's a lot going on.
I'll say,
at Ross.
as for the trajectory of Sydney Sweeney's career and the prospect of her being, quote unquote, taken seriously as an artist or an actor, they, of course, like don't like calling female actresses anymore. You have to be called an actor in order to be taken seriously. Right. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see if she can succeed at that, and she's going to need to come to terms with the trade-offs that she's made, because yes, she's benefited immensely from the public relations backlash that she's gotten, but at the same time, you're not going to win with every crowd. And if she wants to be in all these indie films and be interviewed at film festivals about those films instead of her controversies, that's a delicate balance to strike. That's all I'll say.
She's swimming upstream, because right now all the people that are where she's trying to go, because right now she's college football game day coded. There's no question about it. That's where she's at, and that's where everyone's trying to get.
Yeah.
Because that's hot right now. That's where the money is, and it's exciting. That's kind of where the energy is. Like, look at what Timothée Chalamet, the routine he's done, where he was kind of in more where she wants to be. And now he's like going up there and, you know, giving predictions for West Virginia versus, you know, Miami of Ohio.
Because he's like totally a bro, but nobody knew that.
Nobody knew it because he's swimming downstream, and a lot of people are heading that direction. But for whatever reason, yeah, she has this like insecurity. Maybe, or maybe she's a very simple person. That could also be what's going on, you know. But regardless, she's going upstream while everyone's everyone's heading right downstream as fast as they can, and it's just like, why? Why you have lightning in a bottle? You are Theo Von, Shane Gillis coded, and that's like the ticket right now. Why would you go the other direction? You know,
because it has an expiration date, and she wants to also make moves in the industry as a producer and a director, and she has the beginnings of those plans in place. She has her own production company. I don't know what the future holds for that company, because she started it with her now ex-fiance, and she has not commented publicly on whether they're going to continue working together as professionals. Seems like that would muddy the waters, but we'll have to find out.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.